Okay, so full disclosure. Up until this situation occurred, I absolutely adored the creative genius of Jonathan Majors. His acting, I did not see him in Creed. I heard he was good, but I didn't see it. But I saw him in Loki season 1. And I was so impressed with his depiction of Kang the Conqueror, or I think he had a different name in Loki. But he was going to eventually turn into this Kang the Conqueror character. I just was so impressed with it. I was impressed with his behavior, his look. I just was like, wow. Like I was really impressed with his work. And I studied theater for 6 years. Some of y'all know that. So it's one of my favorite things, watching how a character is created and stuff like that. So recently, Jonathan has been in some hot water. And I wanted to see if Jonathan is guilty or not, because I'm about to tell y'all some things about this case with Jonathan Majors versus Grace Jabari is really strange to me. But let's get started. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anyone and everyone who might like it as well. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you want your own personal private reading done, please email me or hit me up on social media. My information as well as my prices is underneath this video as well, along with my Patreon. I would love for you to join us on Patreon. And let me see, my Asking Aquarius merch is underneath there too, my Archangel Michael merch. Just check out underneath this video. And you will also find every deck I'm about to use. I always list them in case you're interested. Now, some of them may be out of print, but I'll at least give you a name. And when I have a link to where you can purchase one, I will leave that too. All right, so first of all, let me give a legal disclaimer. Whenever the situation is really bad, I have to give y'all a legal disclaimer. I'm going to just basically say everything that I see here is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. It does not necessarily reflect the thoughts or opinions or feelings of anyone except for myself. I am getting this information from my interpretation of these cards. Okay? Viewer discretion is advised. There is my legal ease. First card. This is Jonathan. This is Grace. This is the outcome. Okay. So this is why I said this situation is strange, right? Because when I saw the situation, when I saw the footage from the actual altercation, they're saying he whooped the girl got hurt, she got scratches on her finger all messed up, and they saying that this has happened on several different occasions. Okay, I get you. So maybe this person is abusive. But then in the footage, you see Grace chasing him. And I was like, why is she chasing him? Why are you chasing your abuser? If he's in the car, she said he was in the SUV, punching her, hitting her. And you see him in the video pick her up and put her in the car, but you don't see him hit her or her hit him. So then you see him get out the car and you see her start to chase him. And I was standing there like, you're chasing your abuser? Wouldn't you be trying to get away from your abuser? So I thought that was weird. So I was kind of like looking at her sideways, right? But then when I saw him in his first interview, he looked fake. He looked staged. He looked like he was acting, quite frankly. And I'm sitting there like, so did he do it? So now I want to see, based on these cards, what is really good. It looks like to me, look at this. See these swords? That indicates a very rocky situation. That does indicate some type of fighting. It definitely does. So these two fight. And I don't feel, this is the 8 of Swords and this is our 10 of Swords. So I feel like, yes, these two fight. I feel like a lot of times with him, I feel like there's some self-sabotage with this 8 of Swords. So like he sabotages himself by the dumb stuff that he does. I feel like with that 8 of Swords, I feel like he treats her bad. I feel like he talks down to her. I feel like he's condescending. I feel like most of this abuse, as I would call it, is physical, emotional, mental. That's what it looks like to me. I think they have had altercations, but it looks like to me they're not usually of the physical sort. This is the kind of person who will tear you down with their tongue, will say nasty things to you, make you feel bad about yourself when you do whatever it is that you do. And it looks like to me she is very cut up from this relationship. So I do feel like it's toxic and I do feel like it's violent. This is the kind of relationship where they might not punch you, but they'll punch the wall next to you, or they'll knock something over that breaks and it cuts you. You know, stuff like that. That's the kind of vibe that's coming off of these two cards. And it makes sense because the interview I saw with him and what I saw online, that's basically what they were talking about. And they were saying him doing things like this. And I think that they're being honest. I think he does do things like this. This relationship is over though. That's the Ten of Pentacles right there. Whatever they had going on, whatever little happy, or it wasn't happy clearly, but whatever family or whatever ideas they had for a future, I would say, is gone. So this is definitely over. The two of them, they're not compatible and it should be over, quite frankly. He's going to God. Ace of Cups. So this means he really got knocked down. You ever notice how whenever somebody get knocked down, they go to God? They forget about God when they're on top. Not everybody. A lot of us always remember, you know, the God, the goddess. But some people is when they fall down. So he has truly fallen down and needs help, needs blessings, needs soothing. So he is trying to do that by going to God. And this card here, remember I said this relationship is over. When the Ace of Wands is reversed, it's a couple that's not going to get a new beginning. So this couple is done. They are done. And I think that they should be after the way that they basically triggered each other. So we do see a lot of his energy is giving off so much of that, what do we want to call that energy? Verbal abuse. There's a lot of that vibration going on right there. Now, check this out. This one is him and Megan Good. Megan Good is an actress, and she is now his girlfriend. That fast, he got a new girlfriend. Okay, so this is the situation with them. He is trying to, he done been beat up. The Nine of Wands, you done got your butt kicked. He got his butt kicked. And he is trying to get back up. He's trying to take a breather and get himself together. Okay? He needs someone to nurture him. He needs someone to soothe him. The same way he's going to God because he done got his butt kicked, he's going to Megan. Megan is his goddess of cups. Bring him nurturing. Bring him solace. You know, be his peace. That's why he's calling her in. You know, make him look good. You know, because he walked into court with her. You know, so it looks like, you know, he's this good person. He had his Bible under his arm. Again, that God reference. See? So this is the whole thing he's doing to make himself look better and to make himself feel better. The Goddess of Cups makes you feel better. But check out her card. She got the Six of Wands reversed. This is not a victory for her. This is not the do for her. So if she thinks that this is a good idea, she's sadly mistaken. This is not it. The Six of Wands is when you fall from grace. So they're either going to have some type of rocky event go on with them. See, look at this. They got the Judgment card. Difficult transition. So this relationship is going to be difficult for her. So it's going to be soothing for him, but it's going to be difficult for her. It's going to be a heavy burden for her. For her, though. So he's getting. He's taking her energy, and she's going to be heavily burdened with this situation. I also asked if it was possible at all that he would be hired back by Marvel. Because let me tell y'all something. The very same day that the news came out that he had been found guilty of one charge. It was 3 charges. He was found not guilty of 2 and guilty of 1. So they're saying basically that he did cause bodily harm to her, but it was not his intention. So, you know, in the process of whatever happened, she got hurt. It was his fault, but it wasn't intentional. So Marvel fired him the same hour. He said the same hour that it happened, the same hour the verdict came out. So I said, well, is Marvel going to take him back? There's very little chance of Marvel taking him back. And I understand why Marvel is making that decision. Because right here we have the 8 of Pentacles. They're saying that, yes, he has talent. I mean, immense talent. He was phenomenal. Y'all cannot hear me. He was phenomenal in this role. And I think he's really handsome. I love his African features. I just thought he was a great, you know, like movie star. I thought it was going to be fun to have somebody to look like him on the big screen that has talent. But Marvel thinks he's a liability. 8 of Pentacles is reversed. Yes, you have the talent. Yes, you have the expertise. You know, you are the characters, but you're a liability. So he's not going to get a new beginning with Marvel. The only way, because this one was, yeah, this is the money. See, the money coming from Marvel. That one was reversed, and this one was reversed. So they're telling us that the only way, because shit has hit the fan, the only way he's going to get a call back from Marvel is if some kind of way he wins the appeal, because his team is appealing. And our high priestess tells us right here that 9 times out of 10 that is not going to happen. So I don't have high hopes for that. But they're telling us that's the only way, is if he wins the appeal, that Marvel will take him back. So I don't know. You know, this is Hollywood. So things like this are subject to change. But as of right now, there is very little chance that Marvel trying to hear it without that appeal overriding what they think happened. Now we're going to look at the energy, right? I wanted to see the energy of these 3 people. First, we're going to do Jonathan. This is Jonathan's energy right now. And this is going to make a lot of sense to a lot of you. He's a visionary. So I would say, yes, this is the part of him that creates those awesome characters. He's able to envision their behavior. And he's willing to do so in such a way that brings him personal gain. Nothing wrong with that. So we see that coming from him. He's this visionary. I think they said he's a Virgo. So Virgos have a tendency to be able to focus on a goal and see it through. This is awesome. And this is what has got him to the point that he's at. Right now, he wants the world to believe. This is why I said I felt like he was faking. He was acting on the show, because he wants the world to believe he is this pure, this pure of heart and spirit. Like, I would never do the things that the people said that I've done. Oh, you did them. You definitely did them, homeboy. And I don't feel like, based on these cards, it was the first time. Because if you take a look at this last card, peep that. Self-pity. So I feel like he's the kind of person, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, that may have some narcissistic tendencies, covert narcissist to be exact. And he likes to play the victim and get the self-pity, get the pity from people, playing that innocent role. And that's the role he was playing in that interview. He was just like, I don't know how she got those injuries. And I'm sitting there looking at him like, what? What did you just say? Now, I know that when something like this happens, your lawyer tells you to say and don't say certain things. But just the way he was sitting there, it was obvious that he was lying. It's like, you might not be as bad as she says you are, but you definitely did something to her. And acting like you don't know how she got those injuries makes no sense to me. So we're seeing that here. So he wants us all to buy this act that he's, you know, he's just misunderstood and it wasn't his fault, you know, that kind of thing. Now this is Megan. I'm just pulling them in this order because that's the order I had them set up. Now Megan is willing to gamble, because I kept saying to myself, why in the hell would you get with somebody that is on trial for domestic abuse. Are you stupid? Like, to me, that sounds like a really bad idea, but she's willing to gamble. She believes that he's innocent. And I believe that looking at their cards, she's going to figure out that that's not the case. And she may have already figured it out by now, but she was willing to take that gamble in the beginning. Here we are. She's somebody who's a storyteller. Well, she's an actress, so that makes sense. And she, just like him, you know, she understands how to express herself and experience things and show all of us things through stories. This is what bonded them. They're bonded in that. So I'm an actor, you're an actor, you know, you're in this situation. I think you haven't done anything. I'm willing to gamble that that is the case. Not smart. And then her shadow, it says here that she has an ulterior motive or a hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. So she's trying to get something out of this. Either she's trying to clout chase, because, I mean, look, Jonathan's story is hot. It's all over the place. So either she's clout chasing because if you're a celebrity, you have to keep on being seen with other people. You have to keep being seen. Think about being a celebrity. You have to stay relevant constantly. So she's getting something personally and professionally out of this situation. That's why she was willing to gamble, because she's not thinking that it's going to blow up in her face, and it just might. It, based on these cards, it's a strong possibility that it will. So she is gambling, and yeah, your name is in the media. She's all over the papers. Think about it. We done seen Megan more in the past few weeks than I've ever seen her. So it definitely has put her out there. It's given a lot of publicity. And this one here, this is the Grace Jabari. This is the woman that he got into the altercation with. Wait till y'all see this. This is some shit right here. Grace's cards, as you can see, let me move this over. There you go. As you can see, Grace's cards are all reversed. This is her first card. This one tells us that she rejects legitimate she rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. So we see here in this one that Grace has a rebellious streak to her. And it's kind of like her just kind of, I would call this, I'm gonna be straight up, I would call this daddy issues. This is somebody who rebels against authority. Usually a person that rebels against authority has mommy or daddy issues, or both. And since this is a situation with a man, I'm thinking that that's where the daddy part came in at. So this is her first card. Her second card, reversed as well, is the Knight. Peep this. Allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle. Romantic delusions. This is her right here. So because of her daddy issues, she likes men, or is drawn to men, or attracts men, however you want to put it, that will lay hands on you. Okay? They are destructive. They are narcissistic. They are abusive in some kind of way, even if it's just emotional or mental, you know? They don't even have to, you know, put the actual hands on you, but they will harm you. They will abuse you. Because of her issues with her parental units, she's drawn to this. She draws this energy towards her. And I know women like this. I know women that they'll meet a guy who's quiet, a little nerdy, you know, and they'll kick him to the curb, and they'll start dating Earl down the street who don't know how to keep his hands to himself. And that's what we have here. And she has romantic delusions. And I remember him saying that he was, Jonathan was cheating on her. That's how the fight started in the first place. Somebody texted him something flirty, and she tried to get the phone from him, and that's how the whole thing started. So she's also not a strong partner in that sense. She's going to be insecure in that sense, you know, but she's not just insecure because he's actually doing something. So that problem is there too. And he admitted to cheating. He admitted that he didn't treat her well. And I feel like he didn't. I feel like he definitely didn't. And lastly, this is her last card, Shadow. Turns a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect. This tells us she got a nasty mouth on her. So I feel like they were fighting each other. I feel like because he's the man, he had the power dynamics, physical, as far as that's concerned. I feel like he has the power dynamic. He has the upper body strength. He's bigger than her, things like that. So Yeah, but her mouth. I guarantee you she got a mouth on her. Any of y'all know women that got a mouth on them, like will tear you up? That's Grace's mouth. She got a mouth on her. And you don't deserve to be in a situation like this because you have a mouth on you. What they both should have did was left each other alone. They should have left each other alone. This relationship was not good for either one of them. Now, let's take another look at Jonathan by himself. Because I want to know who he is. First card right there. The spirit guide. Remember I talked to y'all about him and this whole God thing all of a sudden? Well, the card is reversed for a reason. Okay? Because like I said before, this whole thing that he's doing this to get himself out of this situation. This is not really something that is like a sincere thing to him. He's doing this whole thing because yes, he's upset. Yes, he's, going through something. Yes, he is confused. Yes, he is, in a situation where he has lost a great deal as far as career is concerned. But this is a mind game. This is a mind game for everybody else. It's like, oh, look at me, Yes, I need the help, but he's not going to listen. He's not going to follow the messages from angels and his ancestors. He's just going to try to use it like he's using Megan to soothe himself. So his whole spiritual thing, and I think we'll see more of it. I saw him with the Bible under his arm, and I was like, is he serious? Like, okay, all right, but we're going to see more of that. He's also the divine masculine in reverse. This is a boastful, violent, argumentative, disrespectful, arrogant, egotistical kind of person. He will abuse power, self-sabotaging, will gaslight, and is toxic. We saw this. He told that woman that he is an important man. This is what he said in the recording. I was like, wow. He said he is an important man like Barack Obama and Martin Luther King, and he needs her to be his Michelle or his Coretta, basically. He was making an analogy. And okay, I get the analogy, but that is a very egotistical, arrogant thing to say. I'm an important man and I need you to be important too. Like, I get it. I need you to be of good quality. But the way he put that, I was like, this guy's a trip. Also, right here we have the empath. So a lot of times people think that if you have abilities that you're going to be a good person, but that's not always true. Jonathan is an empath. So he is highly sensitive. That's why he's able to make these beautiful characters, because he's sensitive and he can look at people and he can convey feeling, and that's the thing I liked about him. He conveys so much feeling. No matter if it was fun or it was anger, he conveyed it. So this card is telling us right here that he is an empath. He's using it in his art, which is good, but he probably uses it against people too, because an empath can pick up on how you feel and use your feelings against you. So that's something else that he's been doing in his relationships. So he's definitely not the kind of guy you want your your daughter to come home with. So remember I told you guys this situation is over. It definitely is. So let me show this to you. Let me try to get this light off, guys. Why is that light giving you guys such a hard time today? Let's do that. There we go. All right, so this card right here is the Reunite card. So the Reunite card tells us that he at some point may do what I call the Hoover. Hoovering is a term, I think it's a psychological term. I didn't make it up, but I heard it somewhere. And basically it's when you try to suck somebody back in. A lot of times this is a narcissist thing. Narcissists will discard you. They'll throw you away like trash, and then they'll try to get you to come back to them when they want to use you again. So this says that at some point in time, he may actually try to hoover her. This is not good though, because it says here these two do not belong together. They are not the one for each other. This is toxic. This is never going to go right. There's always going to be game being run. There's some right here. You see this right here? There is some things going on that aren't too bad. Like for instance, the respect aspect. This tells us that the two of these two people, if they gave each other more self-respect, more respect of each other and boundaries, they could have actually done better than they did. So that's actually not a bad thing, but that's not happening. We do have some of that traditional energy, especially coming off of him, but we still see that the real respect and the boundaries are not happening. They have some matching vibes too. They can have fun together. This is probably what drew them together. The energy, this is what drew them together. But there's too much deception. There's too much game being run. And they're just not right for each other. And that's just the bottom line. Now, the last cards we're going to look at are about him. Now, I thought these were really interesting. Let me show these to you. Again, they all came up reversed. So Jonathan is going to have to do a lot to get his career back. This is the Enlightenment card. The Enlightenment card is enlightening card is reversed. What does that tell us? That tells us that he ain't learned shit. This situation have not taught him anything. He's still going to have the same behaviors. Jonathan needs to go talk to someone. He needs to do some emotional healing, I would say. Grace does too. We saw in her cards that she has some tendencies that are self-destructive as well. So they both need to see somebody and stay away from each other. But he hasn't learned anything here. All he's going to do is cover this up, keep on lying, keep on trying to act like an angel, keep on acting like he didn't do anything, keep sucking off of Megan Good's energy, and she going to let him because she going to see what she can get out of it, and that's going to continue. Transformation. I don't feel like he's going to transform because he didn't learn anything. This card tells us that no enlightenment occurred. He just learned how to hide it a little bit better. So he might lay low for a little bit of time. Like you might not see him any more stuff anytime soon, but he is not changing. So that means that, I mean, it's inevitable. At some point in time, something else is going to happen. Truth and fairness. He's not going to tell the truth. He's just not. And he doesn't think this is fair, by the way. That last part, he doesn't think any of this is fair. And I agree with that because when I saw him in the interview, he was sitting there upset because she scratched him. Apparently, he had a scratch on his face. She had, there was 2 different altercations and she had small things wrong with her. Minor, like a little scratch behind her ear. You know, little things wrong with her in both instances. That there's no way in hell she did those things. She could have did it to herself, but he said that he doesn't know how it happened. And that's just not true. We see right here that he does know how it happened, and it was him. And like the jury said, maybe he didn't intentionally harm her, but if I throw a glass at the wall and the glass stabs you in your eye, I'm still liable. So he can't come off like, oh, well, it wasn't my fault. You did something, because that's what the jury is saying. Maybe it wasn't intentional. So yes, he thinks it's unfair because he had a scratch on his face and she was not charged. Jonathan wanted her to be charged as well. Now, I kind of get what he's saying, because if I got in trouble, I would be like, well, how come I got in trouble and she didn't? But at the same time, I think that the prosecution, the whoever, you know, the jury, whoever was there, I think they were thinking, well, maybe this is a self-defense wound. So I don't know, because in the video, you see him grab her arms and push her and slam her into the car. Like he picks her up and slams her into the car and runs away. So you don't know what happened in those seconds between him pushing her in the car, because he's in there for a couple of seconds. She's saying they were fighting. He's saying he was making her sit down, you know? So that's why I'm saying it's a lot of, you know, he's not telling us the whole truth. He's playing victim. He didn't learn anything. He's saying that it's not fair. And I'm thinking, was it? So I think it's more fair than he's admitting to. I think that's just the bottom line. I think they were both fighting each other. I think they both fought each other on several occasions. I think that there was a lot of toxicity and dysfunction. I think they both were at fault in this case. Think about like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That's what this reminds me of. They both did some shit that got them both in some bad shit. Okay? So, my goodness, that was rough, right? Now check out the video that is on your screen right now if you enjoyed this video. And please drop us a positive comment in the comment section and let me know, what did you think? Did you think that this this mess was the case, or did you have a whole different idea? Let me know. See you later.